And hi everyone, my name is Ololade Fani, and I'm the research programs lead at Research Round. And this informational session is like a visual and audio component to the long emails I've been sending, and it's to get us all situated with the slides, situated with the format of classes for facilitators. So the to get us also situated with like the roles of facilitators and mentors, and finally the meet and greets that we planned, so facilitators and mentors can get together for an informal hour to just talk. And the goal of LUNE is ultimately networking and collaboration to create a network of on the one hand, graduate students doing technology focused humanities and social sciences work. But on the other hand, it's also to create a system of mentor mentee relationships, a system where people doing this work in Nigeria, one, because of the low resource settings, and two, because of the structure of research in Nigeria, don't feel isolated, don't feel like they're the only ones doing this, because it can be very isolating to be doing interdisciplinary work when you are merging technology and social sciences and humanities. So, to recap again, LUNE is a fellowship that we designed for 8 weeks at the intersection of AI and humanities and social sciences fields. When we held LUNE 1, we saw some intersections with students' work. So LUNE 1 was generally supposed to be a capacity strengthening workshop where we just taught students how to do research, how to how to formulate research questions, how to write good statements, how to put yourself out there, like their public profiles and so on. So it was a general capacity strengthening workshop. But towards the end, we also had the research project component, and we decided to merge people. It was like a spur of the moment decision to merge people. So we had a lawyer merged with a um engineering student, for instance. We had this interdisciplinary collaborations, and they were able to do beautiful interdisciplinary work. And so for the subsequent loan, this which is loan 2 now, we decided we need to build on that interdisciplinary on those interdisciplinary connections, and perhaps make subsequent loan fellowships at that intersection. So here we are at the first iteration of that, which is the Loan AI Humanities Social Sciences Fellowship. And considering all of the conversations about AI research and all of the global north facing research and all of the social implications, the real world impacts of AI, we decided there is no time better than now to start putting these conversations forward like other organizations are doing. And that's why we're so glad to have the kind of collective we have, where we have people from global governance in AI, people who are doing incredible AI audit work, people who we're fortunate to also have people here who were on the Time 100 AI as part of the thinkers pushing against the grain on what AI should look like, especially in relation to Africa. And so we decided there was no time that was best than now to create this hub and network of graduate students thinking at this intersection. What would it look like if you are a linguist who is trying to create data sets, and the creation of these data sets is something that is typically saturated by computer scientists? Why do you need a linguist who understands the language, who understands the nuances? Why do you need somebody who does communications, for instance, or public interest research, who understand what the impact of certain research is on communities? Why do you need these people at the center driving the conversation of AI? And that's what this is for. And we have been getting a lot of, Abib, if I'm correct, the number is about applications already from potential fellows. So we
Yeah,
have been getting
over 80 people have applied, so I was muted.
okay. So we have gotten about 80 applications, which is, something considering how interdisciplinary and niche this is for graduate education. So we're getting about 80 and we're going to pick 12. And we we have a cap of 15 at the end of the day because yes, we also wanted to announce here, I'll announce in a bit that we got some funding. So that's something exciting to so we're going to have 12 students, and the plan is to have the facilitators take classes. We had a plan for the structure of the classes. So from core technical nuances like the NLP and machine learning to more interdisciplinary focuses, and then the review classes on ethics and community management. So we wanted to have like a really good balance. So the typical structure of class of facilitation sessions is 90 minutes. So a 90 minutes class where you'd have a class and you basically you facilitators have the full creative freedom over how they choose to run their classes. So if you decide that you want your we've had people request two classes because they wanted the first class to be more theoretical and the second one to be more practical. So some people, can do all of that at once in 90 minutes. So it largely depends on how you want to run your class. But we created a template to guide you in how you're creating your presentation. We wanted like a visual standard. So like across every Loon session, the slides are the same. It's just the content that is different. So Abib already provided some basic information here about the title slide, reading slides, main content slide, then a slide for reflection, a slide for feedback, a slide for questions, and a thank you slide. This is just like a format we encourage. It's not um fixed. So if you think this is going to cramp your style, please feel free to revise. We just request that you send to us by Abib, can you remind me again what was the deadline for the us getting the slides back? Was it end of December?
Yeah, end of December is recommended. We could still
Okay.
take this by early, say first week of January.
Okay. So we'd recommend end of December or by first week of January to get the slides back. And this part of this information session is currently for facilitators. So mentors will get to it in a bit. So typically this is what the slide is going to look like. So at the title slide here, to insert your title. And then we wanted also for you to include some reading, some things that have stuck to you, some things that you think absolutely anybody working on this or at this intersection should read this. And we want you to have in mind that we're going to have a good blend of people. So some people are not, so we encourage those readings to be really accessible and not something that is really dense, that people, for instance, who are linguists or who are lawyers or who are in digital media, who might not understand, who have not done this from the beginning and might not understand, we just want really accessible readings that will introduce them to like these fields, but also not too dense that they get really confused. And some tools as well. So we know like certain aspects of this some of the sessions are practical components. So if you have some tool suggestions, for instance, perhaps the digital component, some of the elements is the social network analysis. So if you have some really tools that you think, oh, this is a good starter for you to engage with, you can try this or a toolkit or something. And then this will go straight to like the core content of your work. And you can replicate the slides, duplicate the slides as much as you need. So, and then we wanted to also have like a reflection, like a section of your session being for reflection. So we understand that 90 minutes of talking to people can sometimes be I mean it's really generative because these are really interesting topics and 90 minutes is frankly short in my opinion. But sometimes we think it's a good learning strategy to have feedback. So like throwing questions. My own typical teaching practice is that in between I throw back reflection questions like what did I just say? If you want to interpret what I just said in two sentences, what would it be? But we also suggest like having a reflection section. So for students to reflect, this could be like a practical component. This could be like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a case study. For instance, I was following a talk that Abeba Behani gave at a like a Kenyan AI workshop, I think. And for the section of our class, she had put like, imagine you are a computer vision researcher or a computer vision someone who works in computer vision, and you were asked to create like a tool to surveil, like a scene recognition tool. Like, how comfortable will you be? And she gave options, like very comfortable. I would do it so that I can get a job. I would whistle blow. I would do this. So like those kind of reflexive questions where you could create real life scenarios and put like certain reactions and ask people to just reflect on it. I think that would be a really great exercise. And then we also wanted feedback, students to give you feedback. Now, this, because of time, could exceed. If you have two sessions, great, you have all the time. If you just have one session, feedback time could exceed beyond the duration of the class. So if you have like a low like the bandwidth for students to email you if they add feedback, please do. If not, we can always figure out another way for students to communicate any lingering questions they have to you, and get back to you on that. We wanted a section for feedback, and then if students have questions at this stage, because between the reflection and between the feedback, there should have been ample, question and answer times. But if students want a dedicated space for questions, this is where this will come in. And yeah, so that's the structure we propose. But it's not hard and binding, but we definitely want like core, we definitely want the components of reflection, feedback, and questions to appear, while the rest are free. You're free to tweak them as you can, as you wish. So the format of classes, like I said before, is typically a session of 90 minutes. And some facilitators have requested 2 sessions. So between 90 minutes, everything I just listed here from the readings and the tools are basic suggestions, but between 90 minutes, the time goes by really fast. And so you could decide whatever format you want your classes to be. You could start the class by tweaking this style. So you could start the class with a reflection and then get to the teaching and then end with feedback. Or you could, however you want to do it, however, what kind of teaching practice you have. I typically would start my own classes with what's going on, like in what's in the news, because we live in this world where there's always something in the news that is connected to, like, especially if you're teaching real life scenarios like this. So what's in the news that we can reflect on for about 5 minutes in case students want to like up on and talk about it. And then we go into the class section and then we end with reflection. So however, when you can switch the way this appears, to suit the kind of teaching practice that you have cultivated. And so 90 minutes sessions or 180 sessions across multiple days. Okay. Is there any question at this point from facilitators so I can respond? Abib, if there's anything I missed, please feel free to up in at this time.
Yeah, I think it's all good. For the links in the readings and the tools, it might be nice to ensure that they're accessible in terms of like they're not behind paywalls or
Mm.
behind passworded accounts so that participants don't have issues exploring those as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Also great to use local content as often as you can for relatability and also like to motivate participants who are trying to work on these ideas locally. So they're not like heavily disconnected from the case studies that have been provided.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. All right, so I'm just gonna quickly go on to the role of mentor. So we're really lucky that we have, please let me know if you can see my screen. We're really lucky that we have facilitators who have signed up to also be mentors. We thank you so much for your time. So the structure of mentoring, the reason why we have mentoring is that we thought that the ultimate end of the 8 weeks is that students have a project. Now we know it's impossible for them to do like a grand, beautiful work in 8 weeks. But the goal we had was that the students we would have, the fellows would have come on, are people already thinking about this intersection and doing some, thinking either thinking about it or already starting like the developing stage of crafting their projects. So we wanted a space where we can work with them to create like a good start. Or it could be like just to create like a literature review component, or to, start with the process of, in case they want to build their own tools, or, critique some tools, like just processes to start to situate themselves at the beginning. So that's what the goal of the final project is. And on our end, we're going to have, apart from the regular sessions, we're going to have every other Saturday, we're going to meet with them. We're going to have like staff interactions with the students on Saturday for us to talk about the structure of their final project. So we're going to have that direct feedback. But we also wanted personalized mentoring, where mentors can guide them. Mentors are experts in their field already, and they know what to expect. They know how to do this kind of work. They know how to they're experts. So we wanted a space where students can have that kind of support, somebody to, when they develop something or they are thinking of something, somebody to say, okay, this is great. Oh, I think you should read this resource as well. This looks good. Sometimes it helps to have that feedback. And we wanted what we term personalized mentoring, where each student has a mentor um that either does the kind of work they do, or as closely as possible can at least relate to the kind of work they do. So last year we had a mentoring structure, and because of the wide diversity of the students' fields, in the capacity strengthening fellowship, sometimes we had like the mentoring was not as personalized as we hoped. So we had some mismatch. So this time we wanted, because we're lucky that everybody in this fellowship does the same kind of things across different fields. So we wanted to have personalized mentoring where each mentor can match the student as much as possible. And we the structure of mentoring was a 2 to 3 hour commitment throughout the 8 weeks. So you could decide how this 2 to 3 hour component wants to go. If you want 1 hour at a 1 hour session, and you can decide to extend this for as long as you can, but that's just the bare minimum that we suggest. So you could have like a 1 hour session if you prefer at the beginning or somewhere in the middle. So like maybe 2 weeks in, where they are getting situated in, at the beginning, they might still like, where they're getting situated in like what we're doing here, and they're already thinking about their projects, and then another hour at the end of the month. Or you can have a 30 minutes component, one in the middle, one somewhere, two somewhere in the middle, and then one at the end. So deciding however you want your mentoring component to be, and how often you want to meet with the student. You could create a structure where you meet by Zoom and continue to email if that's something that you want. So whatever medium that you prefer, please feel free to up on that. So we wanted, like I said before, mentors to help build and help like to give feedback on the skills they are learning in class, and to help them coordinate towards their project. So the typical venue will be Zoom. If you prefer other mediums, that's good. And we the the ultimate goal of the mentoring is that students are able to develop their research projects, and they're able to deliver a presentation at the end of the research. So we also ask that mentors be present at that presentation, because like we did last year too, at the end of the fellowship, there's a presentation day where everybody gathers and they're like, this is the work I've been doing for 15 weeks or for 8 weeks. And the last fellowship was for 15 weeks. And they gather and they talk about their work, and then their fellow students give feedback, the staff gives feedback, the facilitators or the mentors give feedback. And so yeah, we wanted that structure. So we also understand that mentoring can be a really delicate issue, and to we have had instances of mentor-mentee mismatch. We have had instances where life happens and students just students who are really, really like excited about joining just suddenly start to withdraw. We have actually had that. Last year we had I think one student just ghost. And we didn't know the reason why. So yeah, so there are contingencies like that, but we are trying as much as possible to create a structure where everybody knows what they're coming to do, and we don't have that kind of scenario again where the mentors are like, "Where's my student?" So and we hope we're not going to have that, because last year we had a mix of undergraduates and postgraduates, but this fellowship is more for postgraduate students who are doing a niche field. So we hope that the motivations are also really different, the stakes are different as well. And so we created like a guideline for mentoring engagement. So some guiding questions. Mentors would have conversations with mentees about how they view their research, what key challenge they hope to solve, and their development. And because we're trying not to have a fellowship of AI bros. So we're asking mentors to push back, to be critical, to be skeptical. And that's why I like that we have a good mix of not just people doing work in AI, but people who are actual AI skeptics as well. So we want you to push back on their assumptions. We want you to, let them know, like just your experts, we want you to push back on any assumptions they might make. What are the implications of the kind of work they are working towards, what are the implications for their communities, implications in terms of data, and so on and so forth. And we also want you to exposure as well. Mentors share what they're working on with the mentee. We want a kind of good structure where you can create a rapport where students can understand the kind of work you do, where they can meet you in the middle. And so it's not just like a one-way information direction, but like a two-way. And so you can giving suggesting case studies that may help the mentees with their work, and then providing feedback as well. And we want you to please honor the set appointment times. I know there would be instances where things will happen, but create alternative times to meet. We want mentors to so typically with LUNE, we always have like survey forms at the end that will help with our data collection. And we try to run like a data informed practice where we can focus on this is what people said last year. How can we make it this better next year? So there will be some survey forms to fill at the end of the experience. So you can like a sort of progress tracker. So you can say, oh, up until this point, this is my interaction with this student. This is what I feel about the student. The student is motivated. The student still needs some work. The student is, like a progress tracker of your students. And we want you to also get in touch with us as soon as possible if you have any problems working with your mentees. If there's a mismatch, or the student doesn't understand boundaries, for instance, we want you to get to us and we'll get on it as soon as possible. We don't want scenarios where it's now like, oh, like too late and you're like, oh, this student has been giving me trouble. Oh, if we had known earlier, we could have been able to, get involved and, try to resolve that. So please let us know as soon as possible if you're having any problems with your mentees. And like I said before about the responsibilities and yeah, the direction. So this is a suggestion. You can have 4 sessions where you're talking about one, the introductory stage and topic brainstorming, then the commencement, the progress review, and the final review. This is a suggestion. You can decide how you want your mentoring component to go and adapt that. And for tools, we'll provide you with a progress tracker, like I said before, like a template to log in your progress with the mentee. And then at the end, we'll have like a mentor feedback form where you log in your feedback of the entire experience of being a mentor, what recommendations you'd suggest for us to improve this, and so on and so forth. And we also offered some guides on mentoring, the importance of mentoring. Mentoring is some of the most generative parts of my work has come from mentoring. I've been lucky to have like 3 solid women in my life who are like the most amazing mentors who would always put me on. And I think everybody should, get that experience. So yes, that's it with the mentoring component. If you please have any question, feel free to ask them. And if I missed anything as well, Abib, please feel free to open.
No, I think you covered it. We'll send the
Okay.
links to the tracker. The this particular document, and then this survey will be provided towards the end of the mentoring program.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you should have everything that you need for this engagement.
Okay. All right. We got through all of the formal stuff. So the last thing on schedule is the meet and greet. So and this was an idea I had from a workshop that I had attended like 2 years ago. And at the end, there was an informal coffee hour. And everybody just had their coffee mug and they just talked for an hour on their experiences and so on and so forth. So we wanted to create that component. A lot of the list of mentors and facilitators we have people who are accomplished across different fields. So we have people who are actual who are at the top of their careers. We have people who are doctoral researchers. So we have people at different levels of their careers trying to help students, trying to help um, um, build this fellowship. So we wanted like that kind of cross pollination for facilitators and mentors to interact, to share connections, to build connections, to share knowledge together, to just interact like an informal hour. And we thought that would be a great idea to have that sometime in the middle of the fellowship. Because we just figured if at the end of the fellowship, everybody's like getting really overwhelmed, and we wanted like some to get it at the period where everybody's really excited about the fellowship. So somewhere in the middle, so that will likely be in February 2025. And yeah, so we'll send out a either a doodle or a where to meet. I find doodle much better in terms of interface than where to meet. Where to meet interface is really terrible for me. And we could also find something else so we can find good times. So do you think weekends are better or weekdays? Or we should in the doodle, do we just put like several days and then people can just choose which days are better? We know it's going to be a struggle to find a good time for everybody. So yeah, so the idea is for this meet and greet to just be um, it could go in whatever direction people want. I'm sure that there are people who are doctoral researchers, for instance, who have been huge fans of some of the more accomplished people on our networks, and some of the more accomplished people in our networks as well, who want to meet people doing, some of the incredible work that the other parts of the team are doing. So we wanted that that interaction. So yeah. We didn't want a situation where you would be part of this fellowship for 8 weeks, you come teach your class and you just, disappear without actually engaging with the other fellows and other facilitators and mentors. So we wanted that component to be there. So what are suggestions? Weekends, weekdays. I know it's just two of us here, so we are not like, and we have like 15 people. But weekends, okay. So we can plan for weekends. I think that's the best time we're gonna catch people. So we can plan for weekends, an hour, maybe find a good Saturday. So I'm gonna send like the doodle with a couple of Saturdays. And we're gonna ask people to have a drink in hand so they can all cheer. It's an informal hour, it's not formal. So people can just spend the time laughing, spend the time talking about whatever you want to talk about. And let me see this chat. Okay, weekends. All right. Um, yeah, so the staff will be present at this meet and greet, but would largely just direct the beginning and open it up for people to just up on. And I think we have really incredible, just warm, brilliant people. So I'm sure the hour could even go on beyond that if people have the capacity for that. So I'm going to send that doodle in a bit with like a couple of Saturdays in February, so we can hopefully find a good time for people where everybody, at least a good chunk of people will be available. Okay, that was everything I had planned. So I covered the slides for facilitators, the format of classes, then the duties and scope of mentors, and then the facilitator meet and greet. So if anybody has any lingering questions, please feel free to ask them. And by now, we already have the final topics of everybody. So we needed that so we could craft the course syllabus. So now that we have final topics, we can start crafting the course syllabus, in ways that are good. But like I said before, we wanted like tools. Then we wanted to begin with like a reflection of what it means to do interdisciplinary work. Then we wanted to start as well with like the ethics because we didn't want ethics to be like at the back. We wanted to start like for people to get sucked or wrapped up in the implications of using AI in this moment in time, the social implications. We wanted people to understand what it means to do community engaging work before going into the technical component and before going into the interdisciplinary intersection. So AI plus legal frameworks, AI plus linguistics, AI plus communication, AI plus education, and so on and so forth. So we wanted that structure. So we're going to be, Abib and I and the rest of the team are going to be working on that over the next 1 month. And would also let you know, so the deadline for the application is December 13, if I'm correct. Yeah, I know it's the second week of December.
Yeah,
And
it's this coming week. It ends this coming week.
okay, so as soon as that ends, let you know our process we're reviewing. This is so we give you like progress reports because we're getting close to the time. So we want to like have you constantly, like we want to have LUNE constantly like um in the back of your head. So you're situated in like this process. So we're going to run you with our process. As soon as we select our people, we'll let you know. And we'll also have some informational some PR going out towards the end in January. So we'll have like short videos made by the fellows where they will talk about their work. I find that it's a really engaging practice when you have fellows, just do videos to talk about their work. Hi, my name is this. I'm coming to LUNE to do this. I'm really excited. This is the facilitator or mentor that I'm really excited to, be in conversation with, and so on and so forth. And then we were thinking of a video component for facilitators and mentors, but we thought that might be too much. So if that's not too much, I think we're going to send an email with the suggestion. If you want to do that, please feel free to. If not, we will just have like your pictures and then your bios and say meet the facilitators. Dr. Chinanza or Mr. Nelson works in this, Kauna works in this, so we'll have those components, of people getting familiar with the people that are part of this fellowship. So yeah, that's all I had, and we're really excited to and grateful to have you. So thank you so much for being with us for like the past um 40 minutes. I said it was 15 minutes, but yeah, 15 minutes was an underestimation. So thank you so much, Adidamola and Kauna, for joining. And to those who will be listening to this later, thank you so much as well.
Thank you, so you're welcome.
Thank you. I wanted to comment what you guys are doing. You're doing a good job and well done.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Abby, you can pause the recording now.